Hello YouTubers, this is Cessnaace and I've been tagged again. This time by Spectreair. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. There goes the fan in my PC. Anyway, I'm going to be sticking the link as usual over that way. I've been trying to come up with 5 things that I haven't already talked about in previous tag response videos, but I've been tagged so many times it's hard to come up with something. Now I know I've mentioned that growing up I was an army brat, that we lived in France and Germany, and while we were in Europe traveled extensively, France, Italy, Spain, Holland, Sweden for example, and while we were living in the United States we did a lot of extensive traveling here as well. In fact, at one point we had a motorhome and we were putting a sticker on the back glass for every state we visited, and we had a ton of stickers back there. Also did some traveling in Canada. Graduated from high school in Seattle, Renton, which is a suburb of Seattle. And I've related some rather interesting and embarrassing stories that happened there. And I think I've talked about the time that I was about 9 or 10 and we were visiting friends or relatives' house. I really don't remember now. I hadn't been there before. We had traveled to get there, and they had this huge tank out in the backyard labeled water, and we had a race, and the first person there would be able to get the first drink. And I won the race, and I got the first drink, and nobody had told me that there wasn't actually water in that tank. It held kerosene. So I had to be taken to the emergency room, which, speaking of which, I had the tip of a finger cut off, and I mentioned that, and had to be sewn back on. That happened in Germany. I have fallen off a horse and gotten back on. That happened at the same house where I drank the kerosene, in fact, the same trip. I've mentioned that I'm a Star Trek fan. I've mentioned that I've met Gene Roddenberry, who created Star Trek. I've mentioned that I met Leonard Nimoy, who played Spock. That I, on a separate occasion, got to ask him a question at a Star Trek convention. I've mentioned that at a different convention I was working there, and I was kind of a bodyguard, if you want to put it that way, for Marina Sirtis, who played Counselor Troy on The Next Generation. I've mentioned that I've met Forrest Tucker of F Troop, Bob Denver of Gilligan's Island, Carol Channing, Pat Priest of the Munsters. I believe I've mentioned I've met her. Just a lot of stories, and I don't know which ones for sure that I have told or not. I know I've told or related how I took flying lessons, and that's how I got my screen name, Cessnaace. And it's just so many things. I don't know what I've talked about, what I haven't. Now, as everybody out there knows, I am a major collector of different things. So I decided to just do an overview of that. Some of the things I'm going to show I haven't shown collections for yet. Now, I know I've shown some of my collection of die-cast vehicles. I have shown most of my game collection, although not all of them. For example, haven't shown the DS games and haven't shown many of the PC games. There, put that in there. I think I've mentioned that I collect audio reel-to-reel tapes, but I can't remember if I've shown any of them or not. I know that in the past I put up a 16mm sound projector and ran part of a cartoon, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see that or not, but I collect, no, because it's backwards. I collect 16mm sound prints, and most of what I have are cartoons, although I do have some TV shows. I love American Style, the Mary Tyler Moore Show, stuff like that. Okay, I've shown my DVD collection, although I haven't shown this one because I just got it today. I'm going to have to do a finds video for the DVDs I picked up today. Talked about, but I don't think I've shown my DVD collection. I mean CD collection. I've had CDs since almost as soon as they came out, so I have an extensive collection. This is just a few examples. One and only Falco. I love that song, by the way, Emotional. The B-52s. I've mentioned and shown one or two of the books in my book collection, but I have 7 or 8 large bookshelves, so I haven't begun to show those. Get rid of that box, keeps popping up. I, of course, have shown my Laserdisc collection. And yes, both of my Laserdisc players died the other day, and ironically, I had ordered some more Laserdiscs from Japan the day before, so those will be coming any day now, and I won't have any way to play them. I haven't shown my LP collection, so I'll be getting into that one of these days. Haven't shown my extended dance singles. Max Headroom. Matt Frewer. Haven't shown my action figures, although I didn't get out any to show you. Also have about 30 of these notebooks full of Series 4 non-sport trading cards. That is Back to the Future 2. I don't know if you can see it or not. I'm trying to figure out a good way to show them. Black Hole. Demolition Man, etc. And the oven timer just went off. So my wife will be coming back in here any minute. So I probably should be wrapping up. Anyway, now who to tag? I've decided to tag Gamer Jitsu, Karen Ing, LMA187, and the A-Games. These 4 people are tagged. Until next time, stay awesome.